Primary elections are underway in 5 states today. They include Virginia, Missouri, Kansas, Washington, and you see right there in the hand, Michigan. So let's start there, where Democrats are going to choose a nominee for a critical open U.S. Senate seat. Now, this race could actually help determine whether Republicans or Democrats control the Senate, and it has a lot to say about the future of the Democrat Party. Meanwhile, the Justice Department says they're monitoring polling sites in 4 Michigan cities, claiming to help ensure compliance with federal voting rights laws. Let's go live now to CBS News White House and politics reporter Aaron Navarro. Always good to see you, Aaron. Okay, so who has the heat at this hour in the state of Michigan?
Reed, good to be with you, at least for the Senate primary. It seems, based on polls as well as just how they're talking about this race, that Dr. Abdul El-Sayed, who is seen as the progressive candidate in the Senate primary, has the momentum going into Election Day. Of course, nothing is decided until it's final, and there's a strength that Haley Stevens, the opponent, the congresswoman here, that she has in Detroit, especially among black voters. But the polls indicate that El-Sayed has been up by almost double digits, if not more, in the closing weeks of this race, as he looks to argue that there is another way that Democrats can win in a battleground state like Michigan, that you don't necessarily have to be seen as a moderate or centrist, and instead be a candidate that is focused on the cost of living, as well as other progressive ideas such as abolishing ICE and Medicare for all. We will see, of course, if that pans out tonight. I'm here at the polling center in Dearborn, a city with a heavy Arab and Muslim population, where at least the voters we've talked to so far seem confident in El-Sayed pulling this out.
And of course, so much is yet to be seen and heard from voters, but there is this earlier conversation as to whether Mr. El-Sayed could represent a change in how Democrats do business and their policies. Are you seeing that perhaps even akin to what we saw with the Tea Party and Republicans years ago?
I think it reminds me, yes, of the Tea Party movement, just because you're seeing such an insurgent faction of the Democratic Party that is clearly looking to draw a contrast with the establishment. But it also reminds me a little bit of the uncommitted movement that we saw here in Michigan, specifically in 2024, where you saw protest votes against the Biden policy when it came to Gaza and Israel, as well as the dynamics in the 2016 presidential primary in Michigan, where you saw Hillary Clinton win Detroit and the metro suburbs pretty handily, while Bernie Sanders cleaned up shop in the rest of the state and won the primary in Michigan. But it does, give Democrats another checkpoint in where their party is heading, not only for the rest of the midterms this year, where there will be conversations if El-Sayed can actually win in November in a competitive state like Michigan, but also looking ahead to 2028 on whether the Democratic core, the party, the voters want a more progressive candidate potentially to run for president rather than a more centrist or moderate type that Democrats usually feel can appeal to a wider base of voters. Primaries like this in Michigan, primaries like the Wisconsin governor's race, which is next Tuesday, as well as how these candidates perform in November, can give us more signs on where exactly the party is heading and what the voters in the Democratic Party actually want going into 2028.
Today they get their say, and you are there for it. Aaron Navarro, always great to talk to you. You have a good day.